117 people, a new world, then nothing, just a single word carved into a tree. They vanished, not in a fleeting moment, but over 3 long years, leaving behind a mystery that has haunted historians, archaeologists, and storytellers for centuries. This wasn't just a handful of explorers. It was an entire community, men, women, and children, England's first bold attempt at establishing a permanent foothold in North America. Their disappearance remains one of history's most compelling unsolved puzzles. The year was 1587. Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, sought to expand England's influence and wealth, challenging Spanish dominance. Sir Walter Raleigh, a dashing courtier, was granted a patent to colonize Virginia, a vast, undefined territory along the Atlantic coast. His previous attempts had been military in nature, primarily focused on raiding Spanish ships. This time, the goal was settlement. On May 8th, a fleet of 3 ships, a flyboat, a pinnace, and the flagship, carrying 117 colonists, set sail from Plymouth, England. Among them, Governor John White, an artist and cartographer, and his pregnant daughter, Eleanor Dare. Her husband, Ananias Dare, was also aboard. This wasn't a military expedition. It was a family affair, a true cross-section of English society, hoping for a new life. Their destination was initially Chesapeake Bay, a fertile, deep-water port further north. But the fleet's pilot, Simon Fernandez, a privateer with a dubious reputation, had other plans. After a rough passage, they arrived at Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina, in July 1587. It was the site of a failed earlier attempt, a place rife with tension between English and local tribes. Fernandez, claiming the sailing season was too far advanced for further exploration, abandoned the colonists on Roanoke. This unilateral decision was a catastrophic blow. The island offered poor anchorage and hostile neighbors. Governor White was furious, but powerless. The dream of Chesapeake Bay was shattered, replaced by an immediate, precarious reality. Despite the setback, they quickly began to rebuild. Houses were erected, fields were tilled. On August 18th, Eleanor Dare gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas, a symbol of hope, a tangible sign of their future. Yet the challenges were immense: dwindling supplies, an unfamiliar climate, and the looming threat of indigenous attacks. Relations with the local Algonquian tribes, particularly the Secotan and the Croatan, were complex and often violent. Earlier English encounters had been marked by suspicion, skirmishes, and massacres. The colonists needed their help to survive, but trust was a scarce commodity. Food was a constant worry. They were strangers in a strange land, reliant on a lifeline from across the ocean. Just weeks after Virginia's birth, the colonists, facing severe shortages and the worsening tribal relations, pleaded with Governor White to return to England for supplies. He was reluctant, fearing abandonment, but ultimately agreed. He left behind his daughter, his granddaughter, and his entire community, promising to return as quickly as possible. White's return journey was fraught with peril. England was preparing for war with Spain, the famous Spanish Armada looming. Every available ship was pressed into service for defense. It took 3 agonizing years for White to secure passage back to Roanoke. 3 years of silence, 3 years of the colonists fending for themselves. On August 18, 1590, on Virginia Dare's 3rd birthday, John White finally returned to Roanoke. He fired a cannon, hoping for a signal, a response. There was none. As he approached the settlement, an eerie silence hung in the humid air. The fort, which should have been bustling, was deserted, overgrown with weeds. There were no human remains, no signs of a struggle. No crosses carved into trees, which would have signified distress or forced departure. Only a single word, carved deeply into a fence post, Croatoan, and on a nearby tree, the letters Crow. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, now Hatteras Island, home to a friendly indigenous tribe led by Chief Manteo, who had been baptized by the English. White interpreted the carving as a sign that the colonists had relocated there, perhaps seeking refuge or integration. It was a glimmer of hope amidst the desolation. But a violent storm prevented White from sailing to Croatoan. His crew, eager to return to privateering, refused to risk further delay. He never saw his family or any of the colonists again. John White died years later, a broken man, the mystery of Roanoke forever unsolved in his lifetime. So what happened? The most widely accepted theory aligns with White's interpretation: assimilation. The colonists, facing starvation and hostility, likely sought refuge with the Croatan tribe. Intermarriage and cultural exchange would have followed, their English identity gradually dissolving into the native population. Historical accounts from later English settlers, like those at Jamestown, support this. They spoke of light-skinned, gray-eyed indigenous people and rumors of a lost English settlement. Some even claimed to have encountered individuals speaking English words or possessing European artifacts. Another possibility is a complete massacre. The colonists may have been overwhelmed by a hostile tribe, perhaps the Powhatan Confederacy, who were known for their territorial aggression. Yet, the absence of bodies and signs of struggle at the settlement makes this less likely, especially given the clear Croatoan message. Disease, a brutal reality of early colonial life, also played a role. Smallpox and other European illnesses ravaged native populations, but could they have wiped out the entire English colony without a single trace? It's plausible some succumbed, but unlikely all 117 vanished so cleanly. The lost colony has become a powerful myth, a cautionary tale of ambition and the unforgiving wilderness. Modern archaeological digs continue to uncover tantalizing clues: pottery shards, tools, even potential fort sites further inland. The search for a definitive answer, a final resting place for England's first Americans, continues. Perhaps the truth isn't a single event, but a slow, desperate struggle. A gradual integration, born of necessity, into a world utterly alien to them. A world that swallowed them whole, leaving behind only that enigmatic word carved into a tree, a whisper of their fate. Next, we delve into the chilling disappearance of the Mary Celeste and its phantom crew.